Thank you so much, Madame Lucky, for joining us today. Really appreciate it. I'm looking at the briefing note that was given to you on December 10th, I believe, 2020. Subject, New York Times article, The Children of Pornhub. And it's interesting because you talked about strong partnerships, but what really struck me when I was reading is it said, the RCMP strives to maintain partnership with private companies. And in this case, we're talking about Pornhub, MindGeek, as these are effective, and supports the company's voluntary compliance and adherence to its own terms of use. So I'm wondering why, when we're talking about whether or not criminal acts have been committed, that the RCMP is interested in supporting voluntary compliance and the terms of use that are put on the website by the company as opposed to adhering to Canadian law.
I think, thank you so much for that question. I think it's all about a combination, because there's the legal side and there's the regulatory side, which of course, so we don't deal with the regulatory side. But let's face it, if we can get companies to voluntarily comply with the regulations, then we are so much further ahead. And I know that we've been working with the companies, especially through the NCECC. We've been sharing best practices of other companies who also have it, obviously have it right or are doing better. We discuss mechanisms for reporting. We provide the awareness and the education of the Mandatory Reporting Act in the first place, because many of these companies aren't aware of that. So it's a combination of...
Okay, well, thank you. It's just, I guess what was shocking to us at committee was to learn that they'd never actually complied at all or brought forward any under their obligation on the Mandatory Reporting Act. But I bring it up because, and I know you can't deal with specific cases, but I want to talk about a survivor that reached out to us who's an adult survivor of non-consensual abuse, because we've been talking about children. She's had numerous conversations with the RCMP, and she's logged them. And in an April 6th phone call with the RCMP told her that Pornhub can't be charged because they're under a blanket waiver. And the survivor said, "Do you mean their terms of service?" And the RCMP said, "Yes, the terms of service state that they are not liable, and it's the user's responsibility." And this is a survivor of non-consensual sexual assault. I know you can't speak to specifics, but it says that in your briefing notes, the terms of use was identified, and this is what a police officer is telling a survivor as to why they can't bring forward their case. Why is that?
Well, I would never suggest to any law enforcement that a survivor should not be bringing their case forward. They absolutely should be going to their police of jurisdiction, bringing that case forward so it can be properly reviewed and investigated. It's so important. And obviously that reporting is important for the companies, but it's also important for the survivors to come forward so that we can follow the leads and make sure that that is properly investigated.
The problem is the RCMP...
Thank you, Mr. Angus. Mr. Angus, your time unfortunately is